Good morning. It's New Earth Angel, and I'm here today to uh, make this quick little video. I was supposed to make it yesterday, but I was about to go to bed without making it, and I was like, man, I gotta stay on task. I'm just getting started. So, one of the things I want to do is, try to make a video every day and post it. Um, and I'm still learning. So today I spent time, going up online, trying to figure out how to do thumbnails and all that stuff. I'm telling you, I don't know anything about it, and I'm not letting that stop me. So, and I'm sharing that with you because, like I say, the whole purpose for me starting the channel is to encourage others to uh, get started with your spiritual practice. Whatever it is that you've been pushed or you've been guided to do, go ahead and do it. Don't continue trying to find, a perfect way to step out here. I do truly believe that as we begin to move along our path, uh, we'll be presented with uh, uh, the guidance and the opportunities necessary for us to, to fulfill our mission. I was watching today on Netflix, this movie, the um, called The Secret, and really, it's not really a movie; it's more like a documentary. But looking at it, it reminds me of what I learned when I was studying the Bible, when it talks about us being, uh, you know, able to create our own realities with our words, that our words have power. And so in this book, it is really, explaining to us in layman's terms how you can use your words to change the situation that you have in your life right now. A lot of times people have issues with the Bible or church doctrine because they don't know how to come back and use it in the everyday life. How do I make this work? How does this correlate to everyday life and living? And so that that documentary, actually did explain a lot of that. And also I want to say that there's a YouTube audio book version of it, but it is very, very helpful. If you look into change your situation, and find a way to use your words to bring that up, about in your life, that would be great. Whether it be in church or, doing some self-help, looking online, or, like I say, looking at that documentary on YouTube. I mean, yeah, either on YouTube or on Netflix. But either way, um, it's important that you get started and that you don't waste any time, trying to figure out things to the letter. What I have found that it's not important that we know um, how things are gonna get done. We just need to go ahead and walk towards, you know, doing one thing at a time to, to work toward that end goal. Because at the end of the day, um, how it happens is really not our business. It doesn't really matter how it happens as long as we know that it's gonna happen for us. And so that's going back to faith, which we talked about yesterday. I would like to know how many people actually went and took a walk today, got outside. We talked about, you know, anxiety and depression, and you know, people being in the house and not really being able to, have their regular routine. So, some things have been challenging. So if you can get a chance to get out, get some fresh air, you know, um, you know, walk in nature, you know, that would be very beneficial. If you can listen to some I am affirmations or practice uh, you know, acknowledging what it is you have to be grateful for, you know. If you got good friends and family that are there to support you, that's something to be grateful for. Because some people don't have it. Some people don't have it. And so, another thing I wanted to touch base on is fear. You know, and fear has a way of just kind of sliding into our everyday lives, and a lot of times we don't even put it in check. We just treat it like it's just part of our everyday, you know, um, yeah, like our everyday thing, Uh, it's one of those things that prevents us from stepping out and doing what we call to do because we're fearful of one thing or another, or what other people's gonna say, or whether or not we're gonna be successful, you know. um Watching too much TV, watching too much news, being around people who are engrossed in fear, because we really have to be conscious of who we allow ourselves to to be in the company of. For the work that we have to do, it could really cause you to be fatigued, and it may not be that you doing something that's physically demanding, but working with energy and doing emotional work and purging, negative feelings. Those things, it takes a toll on your body. You have to allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to be alone, allow yourself to be okay with saying no, when someone, asks you to come out, or to take them somewhere or do some favor for them. If you don't take the time to care for yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? And who's going to take care of you? Who's going to take care of you? Even on the airplane, they say, even if you got your own child with you, that you should put your mask on first. Because if you don't put your mask on first, and you trying to put the somebody else's mask on, you might not make it off the plane. And you still got to be able to help whoever else you're trying to help get off the plane. If you got to put somebody else's mask on, you're probably going to have to help them get off the plane too. Which means you need to have your stuff together in your life. Because when you go off to try to help somebody else, chances are it's not just one action you're going to have to do. And you allow your energy to be depleted. We have to be able to pick and choose how we going to exert our energy. And some people are not going to like it, especially if they have been accustomed to you always being there whenever they call. They may not call you, when you in need, but when they need something, they expect you to be right there waiting by the phone. And if you've been that person, it might be a challenge for you to step back. But I submit to you, if you experiencing any discomfort in your body or in your emotions when you're around certain people, you know, that's telling you something. That's telling you something. You know, you hear people say, "Oh, you shouldn't be controlled by your emotions. Don't let your emotions control you." But they don't really tell you how to properly use your emotions. And what I found is the way you, the purpose that I found for emotions was my emotions was a gauge to how I'm feeling about what's going on around me. So it's no way I could ignore it, because if I ignore it, it could be detrimental to me, because this is like my alarm system, you know, and not alarm necessarily that it's always something negative, but it's just something as a gauge. It lets me know, you know, how I'm feeling about what's going on around me. And yesterday when I was talking about my own self and how I was able to, you know, deal with, you know, some things I was facing with anxiety, it was that I had to first, like I said, spend time with myself so I know what is my energy apart from somebody else's energy. And then work on my own thoughts that were that was causing me to have, you know, feelings of anxiousness, you know, and mine presenting itself in a way of, you know, just, you know, agonizing stomach pain, you know, feeling nauseous and hot and agitated, on edge, you know, feeling like I could pop in a minute. And it was not a good feeling. It was not a good feeling. And so I really, 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 it was like an emergency, you know, but I couldn't I couldn't, yeah, for me I had to just, you know, take that time for myself. And that meant that sometimes I didn't even answer the phone, you know, because I just, you know, I didn't even feel like talking to anyone and trying to explain to them, you know, where I'm at and what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But I was fine, you know, and I appreciate, you know, people checking on me, but you know, it was just times that I just didn't even feel up to having a discussion. And and when I was in a, you know, when I was in a good place, I made sure that, you know, those close to me knew that it would be times when I just need to have some time to myself, you know. And by doing that, I was able to not only notice the effects of anxiety within my body, I was able to pinpoint the thoughts that I was allowing to enter my mind that was causing me these anxious feelings, that's making me think that another shoe about to fall, or, you know, looking around the corner for something to happen. You know what I'm saying? I was in a state of, you know, ooh, something disastrous could happen at any time. And I don't know where that came from, but I just know that it, you know, it was just a part of I would say, a spiritual attack that I was going through, you know. And at the time, you know, uh, that became a result of it, of that, you know. I was having a lot of issues at work. And so for people who, hmm, I'm going to get back to that. But going back to separate, understanding how I had these emotions going on and these thoughts going on, I can control my thoughts. See, we can't stop thoughts from coming to us, but we have to know that we are the captain of our thoughts. So as soon as it presents itself, you halt it at the door. Because you can't stop it from coming to the door, but you can definitely prevent it from coming on in and setting up residence, especially if it's a thought you don't want to have. That's like an unwanted guest. And I know you're not just finna let anybody come up to your front door and just sashay up into your house and flop on your couch and throw their feet up. So, by the same token, don't let negative thoughts just come up into your head as if you can't stop it. You can stop it. And how you stop it is as soon as you recognize that you playing a negative thought in your mind, you halt it and you say, hey, I recognize this thought, but this is not my thought. If let's just say uh you want a promotion at your job and you know that you're doing good work, you know that you checking all the blocks, you dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and you're doing what you need to do to get this promotion, and you know that it's possible. So that means that you got to keep your thoughts in line with it being possible and that you're qualified and that you are prepared. And so if that's the case, to reinforce that, you can use affirmations like what I just said. I am more than qualified for for the position of, and use the title of the position. What is for me and shall never pass me by. I am more than prepared for this position and the responsibilities that go with it. And I know that what God has for me is for me. And you don't have to go any further other than to take it a step further. So another thing I realized with, you know, going to church, I just didn't have all my pieces put together. You know, we pray and pray and pray and pray, but that's just asking. You know, Lord, please give me this, give me that. Lord, do this for me, do that for me. Oh, Lord, asking for things. But I got to a point of, and I know they say, oh, give thanks and do declarations, but somewhere, I don't know, maybe I missed some Bible study classes or something, but, it wasn't until I started just, venturing out on my own that I realized that what I had been missing is that you got to take your prayer to another level. You can't just keep asking. You got to get to a point where you say, Lord, I know that you heard my prayer and that it's answered. It's answered. And it's so if I know that it's answered, then I can start giving thanks already in advance. That means you don't ever have to keep going back asking for the same thing. Because if you know that you've already received it, why would you go back and ask for it again? You would just give gratitude and say thank you, divine spirit or God or whatever term you use. You know, I say God, and God to me is not man or woman, it's both. And so what I say, is God, just, I thank you. I thank you that, you know, that the job that I'm applying for is mine. That is already mine. I thank you that you're showing me what I need to do, in order to receive this promotion. If there's something else I need to do, I know that you'll present that to me. But already knowing that no matter what happens in between, at the end of the day, it's yours. And you got to know that. You got to believe that. And you got to know that you deserve that. I mean, really. In that documentary, The Secret, that's what they were talking about, that you really do have to feel it. I mean, you have to have just like we was talking about, you can feel the effects of your emotions. Well, just like when you're happy, you feel it on the inside. And so after you say your prayer and you give thanks that your prayers already heard and that what you've asked for is already here. You just waiting for it to manifest in the you know in the 3D, in the natural. And then after that, you know, as part of that is that you feeling it, that you happy, that you exude the same, you know, excitement and energy that you would if you actually had it in your hand right now. And what helps with that is, just closing your eyes and thinking about what it is you want to have happen in your life. Visualize it, see it. That's why it's important. Some believe it's very important to do a vision board. Um, I started one. I haven't glued anything down to the board, but I got a lot of stuff on the board, and I look at it from time to time. But that's what I. And so now I'm talking to you. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show you mine. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So that'll be my next video, just letting you look at what I've done. And basically on the vision board, you're supposed to put on there the things that gives you inspiration, things that you want to see happen in your life, you know, uh, and you're supposed to look at it throughout, whenever throughout the day or whenever you possible, put it somewhere where you will be able to see it regularly so that you will be reminded of the things that you say you desire, because that's what'll be on your vision board. Um, yeah. Another thing is keeping a journal. I've been keeping a journal for many years now, and it's so funny because I would go to church and I would have my Bible and I have a note, a 5 subject notebook with me, and I'd be writing all kinds of notes. That's why I say, I grew up Baptist, so a Christian, and so I learned a lot, and it helped me to raise my children. It helped me when I went through, a divorce after 15 years, and it has brought me through, 20 years of military service. It I just cannot tell you in this one video all the things that I couldn't even tell you, because it's just so much that has that I have been protected from, and guided guided by the word. So I know that, I know that there is some substance there, and whenever you have man tampering with something, it can be corrupted, but in there you can still find the truth, because whenever you decide you want to read the Bible, um I would say pray and ask God. And prayer is just talking to God. So talk to God, the universe, the creator. Talk to the creator and ask the creator to reveal to you the messages in the scripture. And when you do that, that's preparing your spirit that's within you to give you revelation of the meaning of the scripture. You know, for those of you who are interested in the Bible or who use the Bible. So sometimes I will refer back to some, some uh religious, texts from the Bible, because it may be relevant to what I'm talking about at the time. Like here, even in the Bible, it says that when we know that, when we have the confidence that our prayers are heard, right then and there, God already has answered, because that is what the Creator is looking for you to be confident in knowing that your prayers have been heard and that they've been answered. And then when if you know that, you can already say thanks. It's just like your kids saying, "Oh, Daddy, I want a new pair of shoes. Oh, Mom, I need a new pair of shoes. My toe sticking out." And you know your child has a need. Really, before they have a need. So I ain't even got to say nothing about no shoe. How about, oh, they want a toy? Because, like God, we know our kids' needs before they know they got needs. Okay, that's how God operate in your life. You just now realizing you got a need. God already knew you had it. And because he already knew you had it, that means he knows that what you need. I think my video gonna cut off. But anyway, I just want to say that, yeah, be sure to halt those thoughts that's negative, so they don't block your blessing. And when you notice that you have a thought that pops up that's not in line with where you going, or is based in fear, or or is making you feel some kind of way, that's not your thought. And you got to speak to it. You can't fight a thought with a thought. You have to speak to the thought. Because what you hear in your ear is important. And then it's going to take the place of what you've been saying in your head, but with that thought. So you just say, I replace this thought with, let's just say, about this job. So some might come up and say, "Oh, you ain't qualified. You don't have enough college." You halt that thought. You halt that thought. You halt that thought. You say, "I am more than prepared for this position. I am more prepared. I'm more than prepared for this position. And so regardless of what it say I need, I already have what I need. Of course, if it say that you know, because it could be that, it say you got to have X, Y, Z, but don't let that stop you. First of all, ask God, is that job for you? Before you go and apply for it. That's what you really need to do. Because when you really start to think about it, you're going to spend more time at the job sometimes than you do at your own house. And with that being said, it should be something that God ordained. It should be something, I mean, looking back, because I had some challenges on the job. And that'll be another story for another time. But a lot of it was my own mindset. Didn't mean that what was happening wasn't happening. It just means that I could have dealt with it differently that would have pulled me up out of it. It would have pulled me up out of it and above it, and I would have been able to see the situation for what it really was. Because it's a lot of people in these workplaces that are like they're mentally ill, but they're in charge. So with this, I just say we can't control other people, but we can master our own selves. We don't have to be reactionary. We don't have to walk on eggshells. We don't have to, bottle up all of our emotions and suffer. Part of this movement too is for us to be able to speak freely and express ourselves. We're supposed to be able to do that. And so many people find it difficult to be their true authentic self because for so long we've been suppressed. Even as a child, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. So guess what? Go sit somewhere where nobody don't hear your voice. Then you grow up and it's always somebody who want to be your mouthpiece and talk for you then. And if you don't ever open your mouth and start expressing yourself, you'll live a life where everybody else was talking for you, making your decisions and telling you what you should be doing. And you would just be carrying it out like the puppet you are. Because that's what you'll be if you let that happen. Because that's what it'll be. You allowing it to happen. And like I say, we can't control other people, but we can master ourselves. And if you're in a situation where you're not being treated properly and you don't know which way to go to